after the Hosni Mubarak issue, when CC came, they realized that the major sector of their economy is Suez Canal, and they feel they want to expand it. They were given a bill of like 8 billion naira. Dollars, I mean. $8 billion. And a completion period of 3 years. When the president had the political will, Sisi had the political will, he gave a marching order. He said he wanted it to be completed within 1 year. And the project was completed within 1 year. And asked me, how did they fund the project? They fund the project from issuing financial certificate and shares as low as 10 Egyptian pound.
Okay, so we have Mohammed who's calling in from Bajana. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I want to thank you, the President Muhammad Buhari, to please rescind his decision not to spend money on Ajaokuta. I congratulate all the participants there for saying the obvious. The international conspiracy requires, it's a challenge for our leaders to break the constraints on Ajaokuta. Whether you like it or not, it has been there from the 50s, from the 1950s. The National Assembly should please stand up. All the states of the Federation can fund Ajaokuta. The businessmen in Nigeria can fund Ajasteel. Thank you so much. If you regard it as the bedrock of industrialization, why concession?
All right, thank you very much, Mohammed from Abajana. Just a couple of tweets here we have, and this is from Makinwa Dituru. It says, steel is critical. I'm of the opinion government should complete the company and take full ownership, run it for some years, and have a PPP arrangement. We talked about that. Yet some people are against the concession. What do you say about that?
Well, what I'm saying is, let's look at the pros and cons of concession.
Okay.
Let's look at the pros and cons of JV. Government funding it. Of course, we all know the problem with government funding.
You're not too comfortable with government funding?
Currently, the ministry, I think as of the last time I was there, they have more than 10 companies that are interested in investing in Ajaokuta. And some of these companies are very reputable companies that have their own steel plants. So the issue of concession, no concession, government should fund it. At least there should be a kind of probably a committee to brainstorm on the pros and cons. But certainly government funding, we all know the challenges of government funding. For almost over 30 years now, government could not complete the plan.
How do you respond to Prof's suggestion that bring back the Russians?
Well, the Russians, you see, people talk about the Russians, Ukrainians. The Ukrainians will tell you they have more stake in Ajaokuta. The Russians have written to the ministry. They want to participate. The Ukrainians have written. They are part of the entities that have written that they want to also participate in the investment of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. Is this legal issue that is almost going now, that governments want to sit down and now come up with what is the best way forward?
All right. Just before you come on, we have someone calling from Ajaokuta, Odori. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. I want to say that I'm Comrade Otori. I want to say that Ajaokuta Steel Company has been constructed to be our own. Hello? That Ajaokuta is constructed to cater for the industrial takeoff of Nigeria. But unfortunately, what we have is that the political will of the government is not there.
international conspiracy that my fellow people there mentioned is very, very important for us to consider. What we also need is the political will of the government. The people that have been trained all over the world, the workers have been trained all over the world. But it's a shame that as of today we have never witnessed liquid steel in Ajaokuta. What is happening is that government after government are not too serious after Shagari. Shagari is the only person under 4 good years who was able to put in place what we have today. The rest are just lip service. Nobody is ready to say the truth. And when you talk, what they look at is that this person is anti-government. When Buhari was coming on board, our President Buhari, the view of all Nigerians and the comrades around was that there's going to be a change. Change should not be limited to anywhere. It's supposed to be changed in all aspects of our life. They have abandoned skills. It is expected that change should have actually looked at reviving Ajaokuta skills. And as I'm talking to you now, at completion of Ajaokuta, you have the initial technical officers, the engineers and technicians of up to 10 million. And at the end of the day, if you are talking about 10,000, and you are talking about 10,000 as a goal, you know what it is in the economy. And as of today that we are still talking, after completion, you have 500,000 workforce that will work here, both downstream and upstream industries. So we are saying right here that the trained workers, if anybody is saying that nobody can do it and we don't have technical know-how, the trained workers that are there, what we did in Delta Steel, I was the president of Iron and Steel Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. What we did was to make sure that we called back the workers that were retrenched, or the workers that were sacked, the workers that that retired, they came back on board. And that was how Delta Steel was able to produce during the Indian period. And I'm saying it now that if Ajaokuta has to start, then those workers can be called back from those that are retired, that are still able, can come back and work. What we just need is the political will of government. If we listen to Paris Club and you listen to World Bank, they have their stake in various steel industries all over the world. And you know the quantum of what steel products that is that is being dumped into Nigeria every year. So on the basis of this, they will not like Ajaokuta to work. So we should take the bull by the horn. And of course, I don't want a kind of crisis between the legislative and that of the the executive. Let them come together and say this is the way forward. Let us see how we can inject life into it. And of course, we're telling you that Nigeria has no money. What about the looted money? They should use part of it, inject it into Ajaokuta Steel. We have everybody people. I'm happy that Engineer So is there. I'm happy that Engineer David is there. And Engineer Kaba is also there. Father Kaba is also there. And these are people, look at the people that have served in the past. They are here. They have the formula. In 2004, there was summit. The documents are there. Way forward. We have all these things, they are on ground. But we all have lip service. People are not serious. So for the Nigerians to be serious and for us to move forward, please let us close our eyes and inject life into Ajaokuta Steel Company. It is not only Ajaokuta Steel Company, even the iron ore mining company. And we are talking about that today. Now we just got Otupo rolling mill. As of today, it's not working. It's under lock and key. There's Zuma, bought out of God.
Okay.
What we done in the system so that we are not allowed to grow. Nigeria should rethink and inject life into Ajaokuta Steel Company. Because Ajaokuta Steel Company working is going to serve as sort of raw material to other inland rolling mills.
Okay then.
And of course, you know what it means. So that is what we are saying. The spelling of my name is Comrade Odori, O-G-O-R-I, not O-D-O-R-I. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Odori. And yes, Prof.
Yes, I wanted to clear one issue here.
Yes.
There is a difference between steel producer and steel builders.
Okay.
You see, you can have there are many steel producers, but no, you can only find few of them that can build. And that was what the mistake also with global infrastructure, whatever they call them, the India. Even when the real India was called upon, when they look at the nature of the Ajaokuta Steel project, they said no, they hands off. So before he's talking about they have investors. Yes, You may have investors that are still producers, but they may not be that competent in steel building. The other issue, although the time may not permit us in that concerning the litigation or the remodified concession, there wasn't an issue of ownership of the steel plant at all, right from the have been issue. What actually the only issue there is that pending the period of litigation, Nigeria will not be able to, hand it over to another investor. That is just the issue that was there.
Well, I know that you said earlier on that an audit was on, which you hope to conclude in April?
Yes, right here.
Without prejudice to the outcome of that, what are the challenges standing in the way?
For now, when you talk about technical audit, we don't have any challenges on our way for now.
Okay.
The project is ongoing. We are about 70%, and hopefully by mid-April we will have completed the audit. The audit will be able to show us physically the plant status, what is required to be done, and also we are trying to attach cost element in terms of the plant that have been installed in the steel plant.
Okay, but just a moment there. Let's try and take this call in from Apollos. Calling in from Bielsa. Hello, Apollos.
Bielsa, they're busy.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, please.
Yes. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, I have to contribute to the topic on ground. Yeah, please, I think this issue is very, very important because this is a company that, if it is well revived, it will even create job opportunities in the country. I think the House of Senate too need to raise this issue, and they should deliberate on it because it's very, very important. We have this kind of company in Nigeria, and yet we are going to outside countries to be importing cars, to be importing locomotives, which is not good. These are the kind of things that even the Senate need to put into consideration. Even if 2-3 days, they have to deliberate on it in a very serious manner to see that this issue should come to be. Because if this company is well revived, definitely it will reduce the rate of joblessness in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you. Let me just bring in this here. This is an SMS sent in by one who's watching this program. It says his name is Farid Salman from Zaria. And he says, Honorable Aminu Shagari quoted his father, former President Shehu Shagari, and the late Ambassador Kanu Maitama Sule, as saying that some powers that be had said they don't want Nigeria to become another Japan, referring to Ajaokuta. Can someone react to that? Nigeria should convene a summit on Ajaokuta. Well, there have been so many comments about the conspiracy theory, but again, should there be a national summit on Ajaokuta?
Yes, there should. The
Nigerian sector is the policy makers. You know, you call us, you call those that matters, that will take decision. Let them decide and come up with concrete policy, not to have a jamboree. Policy makers, you know, policy, not in terms of how do we fund it. Okay. Is government going to fund it? Yes. Are we going to concession it?
I'm looking here, when he says convene a summit, yes, I'm looking here at perhaps he means a summit of professionals who know. And we have some of you right here.
Of course, when you talk when we are talking about the policy makers, they will have the professionals that will give them the professional advice.
But you had policy makers in the past, you had professionals in the past, and look where it got us.
No. This is a critical national issue,
right?
And there is actually the need to, call for steel summit. national state summit, where the professionals can be called upon, the stakeholders, and actually we bring out the roadmap. Although I have identified also some roadmap before we go.
Okay.
I will say some of them.
Right,
yes.
because I was going to ask, for instance, has the Nigerian Society of Engineers made representation on this matter to the policymakers?
Yes, Nigerian Society of Engineers came up with the Metallurgical Industry Bill.
Right.
In 2014. It was submitted to the National Assembly and to the Ministry. It's a 69-page document, which I think you should try and read. We propose that the iron and steel industry be given a regulator. You see, the success we see in the telephony industry today is because ab initio, a body called NCC was set up. You would agree that NCC was not there to sell NITEL. No, the NCC was there to make sure that before you come in as a player, you meet certain professional, financial, and technical.
Right.
And so they license the few service providers that you have today. NCC can call you to order anytime if they see that you're getting beyond the red line. Nigerian Society of Engineers submitted this bill to the National Assembly proposing that we have a regulatory body. It's only the regulatory body that can say yes, Pramod Mittal, you can handle steel industry in Nigeria, or you cannot. In that bill, we propose that we should have an upstream agency. Upstream meaning those who produce steel, those who produce the raw materials, and so on and so forth. And then we propose that there should be a downstream. Downstream includes the rolling mills, the foundries, and all those who use the output of the upstream industry. And then we propose that we should have health, safety, and this agency. And then we propose a R&D. And then more importantly, at the end, we propose that there should be a metallurgical industry fund. Somebody talked about funding. Yes, we recognized years ago that you cannot fund a sector like the steel industry with government budget. Also is very right. So we proposed a metallurgical industry fund, and we stated the components of realizing that fund. And if we did that, if the Honorable, you were in the 17th listing, I'm sure you saw our proposal. Yeah. You saw the bill. Yeah. But they killed it. They killed it. So it's not like the professionals, we feel the pinch because it's our people who work in these industries. And we know the details.
Okay. Well, I also know now that you have a bill, SB 260. Yeah. But it's the old one, not the Nigeria version, NNC version. Yeah. That is what we have.
I think. Are you done?
Oh wait, I just wanted to add to that this establishment of this agency and commission will not cost the federal government no kobo.
Yes.
Because we took into cognizance those acts that are already there, those that have been already promulgated. Also some of those establishments on ground, like National State Council, like Nigerian Methodological
Research
Center, and all that. Do you understand? And under that Methodological Enterprise Fund or bank, we also identify areas actually where you can really get the fund.
I think you asked another question, the issue of Steel Summit.
Yes. Yeah.
Steel Summit or no Steel Summit, it's centered within political will. Because we have the key actors, the key players, which I think we have many of them here. When you have an academician, you have society of engineers.
The key actors are the executive.
Well, let me land.
Okay.
You see, you have academician, you have society of engineer, you have public servant, You have a sole administrator, you have a parliamentarian. You see, we have all the key actors. You see, we are deliberating on this issue today because of the visit paid by Speaker Dogara.
That's correct.
To Ajaokuta on the 12th of last month.
Right.
If not because Dogara paid that, Mr. Speaker paid that visit, we would have been discussing about this issue. Yes, it has created a lot of rancor.
Can you pay another visit?
It is out of emotion, patriotism, and love for Nigeria. Any person, for any person to visit Ajaokuta, should head, that very person will shed tears for Nigeria. You see, evidently he's done with that very visit. We had what we call sectorial debate. I think the sectorial debate was open to every Nigerian, whereby the minister was invited, being the representative of the Mr. President in court. Society of Engineers, the labor organization, academicians, whoever has a stake in steel sector was invited. The essence of that sectoral debate, it started in 2016. Because of the passion we have for moving Nigerian economy forward. And as parliamentarians, we feel we cannot do it alone. We need the input of others. We need to have an informed knowledge from others. Sad enough, the ministers couldn't make it. But other people from other segments of life were there. And based on the presentations and the lamentation from other presenters, I think the members, the parliamentarians were not happy out of sheer passion and patriotism for Nigeria. Something which I did not pray for happened. It was a vote of no confidence on the two ministers, which I think one of them, the state minister, is one of us. He was the chief whip of the House of Reps between 1999 to 2003. And I think enough is enough. Enough for this media war. We cannot move steel sector forward with media war. Whereby the National Assembly will come and say, we've passed a vote of no confidence. The minister will come and say, no, I didn't engage any technical auditors. Oh, I am not this, I'm not that. Yes, they are right. We need to bring our house together. Right. Whatever matters in steel sector must come together and salvage this nation once and for all.
Okay, a number of tweets here. I've introduced a new twist to it. We have Akondiola who tweeted and says, no private company will resume operations without the aim of maximizing profit. We have professionals strictly said, here, let them collaborate with the original framework of Ajaokuta and arrive at a conclusion of the cost and the time it will take to actualize in full patriotism. But of course, Peter Dio has a different view. He says, it is good that Ajaokuta still is not working. Surprisingly, he said, because if it had been working, the political class would have stolen all the sales proceeds. And Adeniro Idris tweets in to say, reviving Ajaokuta Steel Complex now is the best, but there must be sincerity of purpose and discussion by both executive and legislature in order to achieve our objective. The project will be achievable if we are patriotic. He says, God bless Nigeria.
Amen.
So, let's come back to you and find out what is being done right now. We are saying that yes, at the end of the audit, you now know what to do. And Nigerians are in so much of a hurry. Is there any leaning towards giving out this plan once again to some of the people? Because the issue was raised earlier on. We didn't quite get that question. But someone was alluding to the fact that there might be some undercurrent.
Not to my knowledge. The purpose of the audit is actually to ascertain the state of the plants. And the audit is going on well as planned. So I'm not aware that we have somebody specific at company that want to give the plant to. Not to my knowledge.
If you were not the sole administrator, would you recommend that as a professional?
Well, basically, if I'm not a sole administrator, as a professional engineer, I'll look at two things, which I'm sure that's what's happening now. to look at those who have the technical know-how and also the financial wherewithal to support the reactivation of the plant.
Activation, reactivation, good.
Yes.
You said reactivation, that's beautiful. It's a good statement. He's not saying concessionary.
Right.
He said reactivation. Actually, that's what we need at the moment.
Yeah, because in principle, sir, we're actually activating. We started work.
Okay.
What I've done when I arrived at Ajaokuta is to look at the lower hanging fruits.
Yes.
Those things you could do without much noise, to spend less money. The Ajaokuta Engineering Workshop is the biggest workshop in Africa.
Yes.
It has a lot of facilities. We're actually reactivating them. We start getting jobs from the Dangote companies, the Five Cements, etc. And that's the intention. Those are the things we can do within. Why the other strategic thinking?
Even the training center can be upgraded to an institution.
But even as we speak, Makinwa Aditoro has tweeted in again and says, can the sole administrator provide update on how much is needed to make the company 100% complete? And can the honorable member shed more light on the appropriation for the amount and possible ways to fund it? No, it's a tall order.
Yes, it is. At the end of the technical audit, you have an idea of
how much
is required.
And he says the honorable member should.
Well, I think for appropriation, we are yet to reach it there. We will only talk of 2017 appropriation. Well, I think when you talk of Ajaokuta, it's more of personnel. We budgeted for personnel, overhead, and the 2 billion naira with regard to concession. And the amount is nothing to write home about compared to what we need to put Ajaokuta into work. And even with what we have as a budget proposal for today, what they depend for 2019, it's not all about putting Ajaokuta into work. I think it's all about maybe maintaining Ajaokuta because it is now owned by Nigeria. But we all agree here that we cannot fund Ajaokuta via this annual appropriation. What we need is a political will to diversify means of getting money on how to bring back Ajaokuta. And there are sources. One government wants to bring back red line. They find a way of funding it. Now government is saying that school feeding, no matter how little it is, they're giving money, giving out money for school feeding. So if government is sincere, if they want to move Ajaokuta forward, they know where to get the money. I'm not saying that no to concession. I'm not saying that sell or outright. What we are saying, we need Ajaokuta. But at this level of time, we cannot hand over Ajaokuta to a private individual. It is our national asset. Let's put it to work. After putting it to work, when we feel we cannot manage it, then we can say, Mr. X, come and take it. Now the whole issue is, the whole idea is, we need to keep ourselves, to put ourselves in both the executive, the legislators, and the key players to find a way on how to revive Ajaokuta. When we come out with a position, after maybe looking ourselves in a room, if it is concession, we all agree on concession, fine, that is the position of Nigerians. But what we are saying, we cannot allow individual, because let me quote the minister. He said he don't want to repeat similar mistake of the past government of entering into concession, of committing public funds into Ajaokuta. He claimed to say that with Nigeria spent over $8 billion in Ajaokuta between 1979 to this time. Am I right, Mr. Samaila? He said Nigeria spent almost 8 billion naira. Am I right, Mr. Alto?
The amount of money he's talking about. Everything.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I say Ajaokuta. I'm not talking. I'm talking. This is what I'm saying. From 1979 to date, he said he don't want to repeat. What are those mistakes? And who committed those mistakes? Were they called to book? We are saying that some people should change Nigeria some time ago, and this is a government which promised change for Nigerians. We compare to Nigerians that will do everything humanly possible to bring those who should change Nigeria to book. And now we're claiming that some people should change Nigeria. We don't want to commit similar mistake of the past. The first thing we need to do is to call a spade a spade. Whoever should change Nigeria between 1979 to today in Ajaokuta's dealing must be brought to book. and then government business will move from there.
No,
but
sir.
some people commit mistake.
No,
They
sir.
siphon Nigerian money. They use Nigerian resources. Go and find out those who are buying for this, who are bidding to take over Ajakuta. The certain people you are seeing, you find out that they have their Nigerian fronters. And those Nigerian fronters, they are all these retired military officers. And all these political shots. I don't want to start mentioning them. And you know. And we know, and every Nigerian knows. There are people who kill Ajakuta because they know what Ajakuta means to Nigeria, and they know they have that dream of taking it over after killing it. Because it is only when they kill it, they will come and buy it at a peanut price. After taking it, then they will revive it with their partners, and the Ajakuta will become their own. So that Nigerians, our children, will have nothing to pinpoint and say this is our national asset.
Thank you.
I'm happy the Honorable is here.
Is that the way? What's the way forward now? Those who feel that yes, it's good to mete out sanctions to those who have been found wanting, but there are also those who caution that dissipating all energies on doing that might also jeopardize your moving forward, because you will spend all your time and energy fighting and you're not looking forward in reviving. What do you say to that?
Yeah, but I have the hope in the administration of Buhari, because actually why he was voted in is for a change. And change has to actually start. Someone said that change has to start from those that, first of all, let us even identify them. I remember there was also the EFCC report that up to date is still under the carpet and has not been released concerning the concession exercise on Nyamko. Nyamko is in Takwe. And that needs to be also be exposed, and let's see the perpetrator and those who were involved. You see, there's one issue before I forgot. Now, you know, Nigeria made progress when we have the Nigeria Steel Development Agency. And as soon as it was scrapped, we were making step backward, up to date. And I also want to also, correct one impression. The federal government stopped funding Ajakuta since 1994. Let them tell me if I'm wrong. Since 1994, the only thing they are spending, you mentioned it, just for maintenance, personnel cost. You know, let me tell you, the Ajakuta, we have structure on top, on the surface. The one below, wow. The one below is even more complex than those on top. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So we really need, what I'm advocating, that the Ajakuta Steel project should be taken away from the purview of the ministry.
All right.
And, you know, given to an independent directorate or authority under the auspices of the presidency.
Okay.
Yes,
Would you go with that?
I agree with that. That's the position of Nigerian side of things.
All right. Take it away from the ministry.
Yes, because the ministry will always kill any progress plan with its bureaucracy. Put it under an agency under the presidency, and you see what progress will be made.
Engineer also?
First of all, before I comment on that, I think you are mixing up issues, Prof. Nigerian Steel Development Authority is after
yes, you may need to.
It gave birth to the 9 parastatals in the steel sector. Because after it was scrapped, it gave birth to the 9 parastatals. You wouldn't have Ajakuta.
No.
Then another thing is, you see, what we want is Ajakuta to move forward. Whether you take it to the presidency, whether you leave it in the ministry, whether you take it anywhere, as long as the political will is not there, you will achieve nothing. So it's immaterial why it is once the political will is there.
On the other hand, the feeling is if you do not sanction those who run the project aground, chances are others will do the same thing.
Well, all over, there are so many, it's not only in the steel sector, in so many other sectors. It's good if they can get them and sanction them. Of course, it's good. It deters others from doing it. There's no doubt about it. But make no mistake, it's not only restricted to the steel sector.
Of course. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Engineer Abdullah Kaba, as we close, as we wind down.
Yes, my point clearly here is that Ajaokuta steel plant is viable. We're talking about industrialization. We're not going anywhere as a country if we don't reactivate Ajaokuta steel plant. Ajaokuta steel plant creates employment for our people. You wake up, see Nigeria die in the material scene in Libya. Ajaokuta steel will be an alternative or to diversify our economy. So I employed everyone who has any responsibility in this regard to make sure that we do all that is possible to ensure that Ajaokuta steel, the completion of this project is commenced during this administration, even if we cannot end it.
All right. Your final words, Honorable.
My final word is Nigerians need Ajaokuta. I need Ajaokuta, and for us to get Ajaokuta, we need to come together, the executive, the legislators, and the general public, and find a lasting solution to the problem, to this dwindling situation of Ajaokuta. And I think the first stage is maybe the House has kickstarted the ball rolling by setting up a committee to investigate the circumstances, and with the Federal Minister of Mines and Steel engage a globally discredited Pricewaterhouse. We said it's an allegation which the ministry countered. Now, since the ministry countered, I think the whole issue is both the executive and the legislators, we need to bury our differences and agree that Ajaokuta belongs to Nigerians, and we are working for Nigerians, and we need to find a lasting solution to the problem of Ajaokuta.
I always say this on this program, that no one program can take care of all the issues. We start something and then the discussion continues. At some other point, we hope to take a second look at this, even as the matter of this steel complex stays on the front burner of national discourse. But here, we would have to say thank you to our guests for finding time to be here and availing us of the so many angles of this national project. So we'd like to say thank you very much to Honorable Babali Bashir, Deputy Chairman, the House of Representatives Committee on National Planning. Thank you for being here. Now, for the sole administrator, you know, he has answered that before. It's not a military. He is a mechanical engineer. He's not a military man. He has his mandate there. Engineer Sumaila Abdullah Kaba, sole administrator. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we also say thank you to Engineer Abdullahi Also, former Director of Steel in the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Cyril.
And we also appreciate Engineer Chinyerem Wamu, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. We thank you for being here. And Professor Esezogo, Professor of Extractive Metallurgy and Material Processing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Right. And thanks to you too for being part of the program. Next week we'll reach you again on NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stober. Bye for now.